I'm going to show you a before and after of the backyard. But this is how most renters mentally take care or don't take care of a property, and why landlords have to charge what they charge. Man, look at that yard. Looks like Beirut. You want your kids playing back there? Crazy work. Look, look at the overgrown tree. Look, man, it's crazy. This is what you often see when people want something, but they don't want to put the time or the investment in to the property so that they can maintain it. If you are someone that has that mindset, then you need to work on preparing yourself to own a home. How can you do that? I'm glad you asked. Wherever you're living, does the yard look like that? Are you currently maintaining the property that you're in? Because it is a great indicator of how you will maintain your property if you buy a home. And it takes money, guys. It takes money. Nothing is free. So if you're from the mindset that, hey, you know what? I just want a YOLO. I don't want any responsibility. I want to just pay for a service. It's akin to subscription services today. I just want to consume. I want to consume the shelter and let the landlord take care of the rest. Understand that you're not preparing yourself to become a successful homeowner, because maintaining the property is a part of that. What do you guys think about the before picture? Do you think that I am correct in my assessment of how most renters treat properties? And if you agree with me, do you agree that 3 times the rent is par for the course? Because as a renter, as a consumer, a lot of you feel like, hey, I'm paying for this service. Why would I water the grass? Why would I cut the grass or maintain it? It's not mine. That's the mindset. So let me cue up this next one and let you see what the after effect of what maintenance looks like. This is from the porch view looking out into the yard, but same fence, same house. So first thing here, notice in the first view, the tree was almost touching the ground in the yard. Look at the difference. And this is also a good example for a lot of you guys that think you just need new, because newer today cost a lot more money. That's about 5 months after the initial fix. Landlords might have a point when they want to make sure that not only can you pay the rent, but are you going to have the grass cut? Do you have the ability to do that? Or if you want us to do it, it's going to be in the rent. Do you have the money, 3 times the rent, to be able to do these things? Because as I state to you all the time, you're paying for it. It's going to be passed on to you because you don't want to deal with those things. So if someone is going to supply it for you, then there is a cost for it. This is why I say renting isn't cheaper. If you fall into the middle or upper middle class, you have to own. It's just a part of the program. I know everybody's going to tell you not to, especially Johnny come lately here that talk about the stock market. But none of you guys that are watching can touch $500,000 in the stock market that's been invested for 10 years, because the numbers show otherwise. I see a lot of folks that are blue collar workers that have been forced to put money into a 401k. They have money, but the key word is forced. When you're not forced to do it, like when you're living in a home, you have a forced savings account. Then if you maintain it, you might have something to look back on. For those of you guys that think I'll go and build my own house because it's cheaper, the more independent you are, the more money it costs. Check this out.
I just talked to a home building company about possibly building me a house. Growing up, I was always told that building a house is actually cheaper and you actually get what you want in your home. At least that's what I thought. Now, I live in a pretty decent area. I'm not talking about $1 million homes, but I do live in a decent middle class area. And the problem that I'm having is that I don't want to spend $400,000 on a home that was built in the 90s and only has 3 bedrooms.
Just because you don't want to do something, that doesn't mean it's going to change the prices. A lot of you guys are saying, hey, we're not going to buy. Well, if you really look at the numbers in your market where you are, that strategy isn't working because there is a shortage of homes. There's more people willing and able to get into a home, but a lot of folks have the mindset that this gentleman had, because when you get ready to do something, depending on what year you were born, what you're always going to do, especially the older you get, is you're going to go back to when you thought $400,000 was a lot of money. But there's something called inflation. And if you're not keeping up with the times and keeping up with what's going on, because you're in a race to the bottom, meaning you're trying to rent someplace for $200 and suck the life out of the place and have no responsibility, then you wake up at 45 and you ain't got nothing because no one forced you, okay? Because you're not going to do it on your own. Because if you were, then these numbers that we're seeing nationally about folks having less than $1,000 in their account, working class, middle class, upper middle class, all those classes, then we wouldn't have those numbers. A lot of us have to be forced to do things. But to his point, costs are up and they continue to go up every year. Nothing new under the sun.
Now, I was thinking that $400,000 does sound like a good bit of change to go build yourself a home. So I call up this home construction company and I'm as happy as I can be because I'm about to tell them, hey man, I'm willing to spend $400,000, maybe even $500,000 for you to build me a house. So I get this guy on the phone, I give him my little spiel. He goes, no problem, that's what I specialize in. Then he asks me the magical question, what's your budget? At this point, I've been waiting for this question. I'm about to tell him $400,000, I'm about to hear him jumping up in the air and we're about to have a kumbaya moment. I tell him $400,000 thinking he's going to talk me up to $500,000, but this man says, ooh, do you already have the land? The land? No, this is why I'm contacting you because I don't have anything. Put me on. You're supposed to be letting me know what's up. This man proceeds to tell me that the area that I'm in, the land itself is $400,000 and he doesn't do any construction on homes that are even less than $500,000.
First of all, he's saying that the house is $500,000. What the builder told him is, I don't even get out of bed unless I'm building a house for $500,000. And he said where he lives, the land is 400 grand. You see, the only way to get cheaper land for all of these folks on YouTube trying to tell you guys to buy a camper and go move out to BFE, well, what they're not telling you is that's very expensive as well, but that's where the cheap land is at. I'm going to show you what most first-time home buyers have to do, especially in major metropolitan areas. You have to go out further. That's what a lot of these builders do. Why? Because the land is less expensive. And then I'm going to show you the type of home they're building for you to get into a house or onto the property ladder. But that's what you have to do because, again, the older you get, 35, 38, 40, 45, you think, hey, when I get ready to spend $500,000, you thinking 1998, 2002, 2005, you think about that money. It's gone like good candy. You have to add the inflation to it that goes on every year. And guess what? If you got a house, doesn't have to be a McMansion, any house, get one that you can afford and you maintain it. A lot of those houses that were bought in 1998, guess what the value of them are now? And they're almost paid for because a lot of folks were able to refinance and get those low rates because they were in the right place at the right time. What do you think about what I've said thus far? There's plenty of homes. They're just not where you want to live because of your age. You're seeing things from a different lens. What I'm going to show you here next is what a starter home looks like from the standpoint of what the builder told this gentleman, you got to go further out, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, in those areas that might be eligible for USDA financing that will allow you to borrow up to 100% of the sales price. And then you only have to deal with closing costs. What I want you to notice, no empty houses. Now, I want you guys, if you don't mind, get down in the comment section and guess how much those houses, these houses that you're looking at, how much do you think they cost? Give me a range, a price range. But these are starter homes. See the Mercedes-Benz? Don't let a car fool you guys. These are starter homes, guys. And this subdivision that I'm driving through is about 45 minutes to an hour outside of the city center. You see, there's circles, concentric circles. And the further you go out, the less expensive things are. It's full. There's no empty houses. So that confirms what I'm saying. There's demand, but people expect, like the last gentleman, they want to spend 400,000. Well, that was 10, 15 years ago to get what he thinks that he wants. And a lot of you guys have waited a long period of time as well and possibly have missed the boat. Now, I'm on my way out of this subdivision. And when I get ready to make this right, you see what it looks like across the street? Yeah. See, that's out, is rural land. See, they went out and bought that. See the cow and the horse out there to the left? You see? And for all of you guys that want to go out to BFE, see, at one point in time, this was out in the middle of nowhere. But do you think those people are happy now? Because the people are going to come because they need affordable housing. There's more people than there is housing. And if you're in an area that has built a lot of new construction and there's been a softening in the market, now's the time for you to take advantage of it. But a lot of you guys are listening to the wrong people and you're not going to move forward. So as you can see, those folks, when they built those houses and those fields out there where they're farming, they weren't planning on 1,000 houses coming up the road. And there's more coming. If you want to buy a home and you don't know where to start, your next best step is a consultation. Schedule that call by clicking the link in the pinned comment or in the description below. My time is up, but I thank you for yours. Let's be good to one another. Let us let grace abound. If you're not ready to make that call, watch these next 2 videos. Continue educating yourself so that when the time comes, you'll be a better home owner. Indeed, y'all stay blessed.